Hey guys, I'm gonna do a video here on 3 builds or strategies to build up your character in Wartune, and when and what should be used. So of course you got like different classes. That's to say straight away. Archers, they are the lucky ones. As usual, they have a great advantage versus all others. Why? Because all archers, they don't have to choose different builds. They can just build like here, looking at E314, who I believe did quit a while ago. But anyways, you see he has Holy Sniper's Edge, Holy Force, so that's adding criticals, adding physical attack, reducing damage, magical and physical defense, and determination. That is a very standard, a very efficient, let's say, build for archers, and also all his equipment will reflect that. So if you're an archer, you may find this useful for information, so you understand the game better. But otherwise, I think this video is mainly helpful for warriors and mages, or knights and mages. So I'm going to show on myself as examples. You see here, I'm now in my critical build. I have 2,184 criticals, and this is coming, and this is without the medallion. I'm only Knight Crusader, so I don't have that amazing medallion. For those who are lower level, I will show you in the arena shop, because you don't have access to it yet. So you see, at the Knight Crusader you get 22% attack, 12%, 22% increased damage to players, 12% reduction. On Elite you also get the same kind of things. On High Commander you also get the same kind of things, just more. But where it starts to change is Imperial Commander and Lord Divine. At Imperial Commander you already start getting 600 blocks, 600 critical. I'm mainly pointing out the things which are very important, which is the block and the critical. And on Lord Divine it goes up by 100. But basically at Imperial Commander is where a very big turning point is. If I had that Imperial Commander, if I was a little smarter earlier, then I would have had now 3,600 critical. But anyhow, even without the medallion, I'm able to get 3,000. So that is one kind of a build. The places where critical, or the most used for critical, or why a knight or a mage should have critical on the high level, not on the lower level, that is because you earn a lot more money on the world boss. It is purely used for income. And it is really considerable difference. I tested mine yesterday, so you can see on my astrals that they are rather equal, in the sense I have the base is the physical attack, level 6 Holy Force, that stays. And I compared yesterday my critical build, which is a level 5 Holy Sniper, bringing 3,000 criticals. Of course not from this alone, but everything else. And the enhanced determination is level 5, even not level 6, so critical damage increased by 25%. I compared this to Will Destroyer level 6, damage increased by 30%, and the difference was huge. The difference was, let's say, if I tell you with criticals I earn 1 million, then with the Will Destroyer build I will earn 800,000. On one fight, instead of 100,000 or instead of 105,000, I was earning 80 or 85,000 with Will Destroyer. So Will Destroyer, why is that now important? So I explained you why critical is important for all kind of events. Divine Altar, where you need to kill fast. A world boss, where you need to get income. Anything where you need to kill fast, something like bosses, like dungeons, like even in guild battles, the enemy tower, it's just like a world boss. Critical build just destroys it really well. So for all those kind of occasions, critical build is superior. Now, why you cannot stay in critical build is because In order to have critical build, look what I have to do. I have to get on every single piece of equipment. You see the purple gem is critical. So on every single equipment I have to use a critical gem. So that's one gem slot on every single piece of equipment. And also every single piece of equipment I have, there may be one or two exceptions, but every one is refined. Refine is here, of course, in the blacksmith for the newer players. Refining with crystals, with refinement crystals. And with these crystals you can refine your equipment to change the statistics on it. And I have this one is a bad example. For example, looking at my brooch here, so you see I have physical attack, defense, endurance, HP, but I have the critical there. Here, of course, I would have preferred to have strength instead of HP. That would have been ideal for me, but I have critical. And so when you use a critical astral, which is taking 2 slots, so on the astrals, 1 slot is the sniper and 1 slot is the determination. And if you're using the gems, if you're using the refinement of equipment, you know, because if you're doing something, you have to do it properly. I've seen some people who are going halfway critical and then complaining it's not doing so well. Yeah, it's because you went halfway. You know, if I was going with 1500 critical, I would have been totally unsuccessful. But if 3000 for me is like a kind of a magic line. 3000 critical or 3000 block or 3000 whatever like that makes a really big difference. So for me it's 3000 or more, then you can call yourself critical build. And this is why, because you are sacrificing so much space in order to increase the criticals, your defense is lower. So if you look at my defense, for example, you will see that my physical defense is only 11,500 while the attack is almost 17. This is a great disbalance. This is a great disbalance for knights, because one easy way to check for knights is attack and defense should be roughly speaking similar. Attack will be always a little higher, but in a proper build, which would be the will destroyer build, attack and defense are comparable. And so you can see here the gap is huge between 17 and 11. Of course, magic defense will always be lower. That's not an issue. That's same for knights. On the mages, of course, you'll have here magic attack. You'll have magic defense. Those two are comparable. Then, if you're in a will destroyer mode, if you're in critical mode, that's again skewed. Because critical is all about increasing damage. Now, the reason it doesn't work in battlegrounds, in class wars, in group arena is because you compromised your defense and you got lower life because you have used 1 extra gem and refinement on critical, and that is what's letting it down. The attack is fine. I know people say you have to do critical to do proper damage, but attack is fine. It averages out over the fight. So the offensive power is fine, but the defensive power, the defensive capabilities are an issue. So that is why you also need what I call a will destroyer build, which is here. If I switch the sniper and determination out, and I put in the will destroyer and let's say illusion or charm in, then that is part 1. Part 2, let me put it back. Part 2 is that is just astrals. Changing astrals is not changing builds. Part 2 is to change all the gems from the sockets, to take out the critical gems and put back in. So then I would go to the sockets, and it costs about 30,000 every time you switch, which is a pain in the butt. So then I would take out the criticals and I would put in these physical defense gems and the life gems. Then my defense and life would go up. The will destroyer will compensate for the loss of the critical, and it'll bring in the increased damage, a stable one. So then that works perfectly fine for battleground, group, arena. And but it's a lot less income from world boss and a lot slower killing power. Seriously, visibly slower. And that is what is needed if you want to go to be successful in the battlegrounds, in group arena, and solo arena also. Because every 3 days you can raise in ranks and get a nice hit of income there also. So that's 2 builds I explained. Now what is the third one? The third one is from the introduction of Class Wars. Now that requires a totally different build. Why? Because if I'm a knight, or if you're a mage, so I'll first say the knight. So if I'm a knight, then I need physical attack, I need physical defense, I need Goddess Blessing, I need block probably, but I don't need magic defense anymore because I'm only going to be fighting knights. So this astral can go out, and that astral can go out. Then of course then you are using Will Destroyer. Then as I explained, but the magic defense goes out, and that also means that you would, for Class Wars, you'd have to go and optimize. So for example, here you see I have physical attack, magic defense, physical defense, and something else. So now here I would take out the magic defense, I would take out the crit, and I would put health and block. So for knights, that actually is very similar for mages. Mages are also on high level using block. And so you can do that, and for mages, of course, you're not going to be fighting knights or archers, so you can take off your physical defense astral and put something else. And there's a lot of interesting choices. You can go with deflection, regeneration, illusion, charm. I like charm a lot. I think it's underestimated, and especially now that we got the red one. And I was lucky enough to get this one. I leveled it up to level 4, which is going to make my troops stronger, because if your troops can take an extra hit, that's 1 extra hit less for you, and that is a guaranteed every battle. So that explains you the 3 builds. It's totally 3 completely different. So recap: 1 is critical, everything, gems, refinement, and astral critical. That increases income, and also gives you benefit on all kinds of events where you need to kill stuff faster, which has no defense. Then you got the battleground arena build, Will Destroyer build. There it's with the Will Destroyer and whatever other things make you strong, but then the critical gem goes out. Instead goes back in physical defense and life. You still need magic defense because you're going to be fighting the mages on group arena and battlegrounds. And the Class Wars is the last build where you need to only take things which are good to fight people of your class. If you're a mage, you don't need anything to do with physical attack, physical defense. If you're a knight, you don't need to have anything to do with magic defense and magic attack. Of course, warlocks there play an interesting role, because warlocks do magic attack, but there are very, very few warlocks around, so it's not a problem. So there's also an impact on skills, but I'm not gonna go into too much details on skills. By large, they're standard. For knight, you can go offense or defense. Now I have double skills. And on defense mode, you would go with, let's say, if you're a knight, you'd go with reverse damage, shield, and not a Goran shield. I think I will think about what I want. Perhaps the Goran, I don't know. Or you go with offense with whirlwind. I'm lagging, it seems. Yeah, I'm lagging. Connection lost. Great. Hold on. Okay, back in. And for Class Wars, like I said, it's totally different focus. So you got those 3 builds. The problem is, of course, you don't. Most people don't have the power, the financial power, to maintain. I find it. I don't have my Class Wars build yet. Although I'm starting, as you see, I've already prepared a charm. My illusion is at level 5. I'm slowly getting there, but the problem, now I tell you where the problem comes in. I cannot give up the crit build because it is giving me the most income. The income I'm investing into things that I need. So I cannot give that up. And anybody else in my position will have the same dilemma. If I go only in Will Destroyer build, I'll be fine for the fighting in the battleground, and even in class wars, but not even in class wars, because you see, even with the Will Destroyer and class wars build, let's take this arena set for example, and have a look at the refinements here. So I have there, okay, the Brooch Whistle. Let's go to the sword. So I have their physical attack, endurance, magic defense, crit, and defense. So you see, there I have magic defense plus 99. That would be perfectly great for battleground or for arena battles, but it'll be absolutely useless for class wars. So even for class wars, I would want to refine this and have physical defense there instead of magic defense. Or basically anything but not magic defense, because magic defense against knights is useless. Same for a mage. If you're going to class wars, well, having a physical defense there, it's absolutely useless to you. So to have the highest chances possible, you even have to let's say refine for the class wars build. So now it is really unmanageable to have 3 builds, and that would even mean that you need to have, let's say in this case I have a level 55 arena set. That means I actually have to buy 3 level 55 arena sets, each one with different refinements, and move around the gems accordingly. Now that is very costly to set up. Even if you manage to set up, all the time you're moving the gems around, it's a headache and it costs a lot of money. So it's not really sustainable, I think, in the long run. Although the hardcore players and especially cashers who have the cash for those things, maybe they will go ahead with that. Now regular people, or most people, like I think 90-95% of the people, will have to make a choice as to what to get. And I cannot tell you the answer to that. Actually, if you have your what's your impression or understanding, maybe you can put it in the comments. You can share your advice, but it's not an easy question. Or you have to. But also, just one more thing, because people were talking to me about investments. Because the cost of astrals is increasing exponentially almost. Then you actually, for a cost of a level 7, let's say Will Destroyer, instead of a level 7 Will Destroyer, I can actually have a level 6 Will Destroyer and a level 6 Sniper. So in that sense, actually, it is better to have one level lower, but have that great flexibility. And actually, the astrals are not really the problem. You can very well set up all the possible astrals that you need. Actually, it's not that big of a problem. And between level 5 and level 6, or level 6 and level 7, yeah, there's a difference, but the flexibility is worth more. And so astrals is not the issue. What is the biggest issue, and even gems is not the issue, because you can get the gold and you can switch around gems. Even that is not the issue. The biggest issue is refinement, because refinement costs refinement crystals, and refinement crystals are very hard to come by. So you see here I have almost 1,000 of level 60, but I've been collecting these for a long time, and I barely have any level 2 refinement crystals for the arena set. And also, when you're gonna get the level, me or other people are gonna get the level 60 legendary PvE set, that is so difficult to get. So you cannot have 3 different level 60 sets, you know, that is not. So imagine if now somehow I get the level 60 set, yeah, which way should I refine? Should I put criticals on it so that I have the biggest possible income from the world boss? Should I put the proper stats for the battleground so that I can get honor, which means defense, physical defense, magic defense for knights, or physical defense for mages? Which way do you go? Or do you say that the earnings from the class wars are so important that I don't care about battlegrounds, I don't care about the world boss, I'm gonna make it, if you're a knight, then you can think like, I'm gonna put their defense, physical defense, strength, attack, endurance, or block, you know, just fully on class wars only. But then of course you're sacrificing the other two. So it is a very difficult question, but I wanted to explain you what the problem is on the higher level. The three builds that we have now, again, the archers are ridiculously lucky because they don't have to worry about none of these things, because they have only one build, which is the critical build, and they use it for everything, and it works perfectly fine. And it is absolutely ridiculous, I'm sorry to say, that the game is favoring archers so much. They're by far the most powerful class in the game, and I can prove it mathematically to anybody who says otherwise. Mages the second, knights by far, they're not even the third. If archers is number 1, then mages is maybe 3 or 4 or 5, and knights are like number 20. So that's how big the gaps are, the disbalance. But still, I'm a knight and I enjoy the challenge, and I'm gonna keep staying a knight. But you know what? If tomorrow they would have if tomorrow they would offer to switch classes, let's say for balance, I would actually seriously consider doing that. But anyways, that aside, I explained you the three builds, and how important those things are, and how big a difference it makes. If every world boss you earn 200,000 more gold and Daru, don't forget Daru, because it builds up like crazy, and that's why so many people followed my advice and took the critical build and started earning a lot more. But of course it has all this headache of switching gems around if you want to go back to Battleground afterwards, or before, and every time it also costs gold, around 30,000 or so. And so the ones that didn't want to have the headache, they stayed with the Will Destroyer. The ones that were very active and so forth switched to crit. So that is the problem, and I hope you understood my explanation, the three builds, the problem that it poses, the question that it poses. And this is a strategic issue, and everybody needs to think and make the best choice for themselves, and consult with your friends, or just think about it, see what you want, and there is no right answer, actually. Not that I have found so far. Maybe there is, but I haven't found it. So if you have any advice or comments or suggestions, or just thoughts, just put it down in the comments and discuss, open up the discussion. And that's it. I think that was long enough. It's a very important video, this one, strategically speaking. So I do hope that was useful for you. And yeah, that's it. Link to my blog is in the comments. If you ever forget the address, you can always Google Cosmos Wartune, that'll bring you the blog, or Lavash Games Wartune, that'll bring you the YouTube videos. And if you ever need to find something, just Google it. You know, that's the easiest way. I even Google myself for stuff in my blog. I don't go to my blog directly, because there's like more than I think 190, 200 articles there already. It's tough to find things, so I just Google, like, I don't know, Cosmos Wartune VIP levels, or Cosmos Wartune whatever, Holy Seal levels, or whatever, and then it'll bring you the stuff. So that's it. Please do click on like and subscribe below the video. It helps a lot, just a press of a button, and hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and have a very nice day.